Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
You may be seated. I love this, and I love Advent, and I am ready. I hope you are, because love is coming. Divine love in action. And we have that course. It's like we've got that GPS factored in, and we're heading to love. Are you ready for that? Good. So I wanted to start with co-founder Charles Fillmore. He says, love is the attracting, harmonizing, unifying power of the universe. How big is love? Absolutely infinite. So this could also be a description of what God is. That ever-present, unifying power, harmonizing the entire universe. And we're in the universe. So there's a deep, abiding love within us that is the harmonizing, unifying power within us to make choices, to choose actions, reactions or response. It's all there because our divine love is action. Here from Scripture, 1 John chapter 4, verse 2, says, God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. The God in me, I love the God around me and through me, and thus I am one with God. Another way of saying it. I would actually like to propose that whenever we're feeling God, or feeling love, we're feeling God. Whenever we're being loving, we're extending God. Whenever we're forgiving or reconciling, we're standing in the presence of our divine nature. And that is the very essence of our being, our divinity. Or as I've said over and over and over again, we're 100% human and we're 100% divine, which gives us the buffet of choices. How to love. Are we going to be eternal and strong in our love? Or are we going to get petty and small and relative? Now, there can be a lot of joy in our humanness. There is. But there's also judgment and fear and anger, which causes all kinds of chaos. Just look at the news, or turn on the television, or look at your social media and see what kind of choices human beings are making out of anger and fear. It is not the only answer. Because the response to that humanness is love. Is peace, is faith, is hope, is that Christ's light within us. Are you with me? Okay. So, once again, I love the Unity booklets. Uh, the Advent booklet is particularly wonderful. Reverend Maggie Aldman, in her ministerial training, chose to do her internship here with us. And then we loved her so much, we hired her as associate minister. And that was a blessing because it was COVID and she brought much wisdom and light to our ministry in a very challenging time. She is now at Unity Village, the director of Silent Unity Prayer Service. And she wrote each of our Sunday passages in our Advent booklet. And I'm a little biased. I just love her. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't want to advance. She says, have you ever stopped to consider the impact your love has made on the world? Now, not just those closest to you, those who by virtue of family or friendship have to love you, but the ripple of your love creates in the lives of others simply by letting your Christ light shine brightly. I've had multiple experiences of experiencing loving my way through in this time of year with a lot of change happening. And I wonder, do you have instances where you have loved your way through with people not in your family, but you've made choices to love your way through a situation? Anyone want to share that?
I work in a dialysis clinic, and one of the topics close to my heart is talking to patients about death. To me, it's not something to be avoided. It's something to be discussed and thought about. And my coworkers were upset by that and would go behind my back to talk to patients. And so first I felt human, angry, and not trusted, but then I chose love and went to them and said, tell me where you're coming from. Why does this upset you? Let's talk about it. Let me know your perspective.
A wonderful response. Anyone else? All right. Thank you. The wonderful Dr. H. Emily Cady. This woman was the first woman doctor in America in the 1800s in New York City. I love Emily. So, with that, here she writes, love is the power that dissolves all barriers and draws all mankind together in one. How powerful is love? Very. It's the most powerful. So if there's any situation in our life, like Lauren's, that's causing us distress, fear, challenge, if we take a step back and choose love ourselves in the process, love whatever's happening, we can see it as an opportunity for growth for ourselves. Yes. Let me bring this to you.
Good morning, everybody. When I first moved here, I was really nervous about going out, going to the big stores and all that kind of stuff. And when I when I went out, there was this gentleman that looked like he was having problems carrying his little shop quick basket. And I asked him, I said, "Sir, can I help you with that?" And he got really angry and he's like, "No, I don't need any help with this. What would make you think I need help with this?" Well, for one, he's carrying a cane in one hand and the shop quick basket in the other hand. I said, "Oh, I apologize." I said, "I just moved into a 3-story apartment and carrying stuff gets really hard after a little while." And he's like, "Oh, well, where are you from?" Still with a big old frown on his face. And I said, "Oh, well, I'm originally from Abilene, but I just moved here." I said, "Are you from here originally?" And he says, "Oh, no, I've been here about 10, 13 years, however long he'd been here." And I said, "Oh," I said, "Do you know many people around here?" He goes, "No, not many." And I said, "Well, hey, now you know me." I said, "I'm sure we'll see each other because this HEB is right up the street from me." So when we first started the conversation, he was really mad and irritated that I offered to help. And when we finished up the conversation, I got to give him a hug, and we both left smiling. So, yeah, I was a little fearful when I first opened my mouth. I was like, I knew I should have been quiet. I just knew I should have been quiet. But by the end, it was a really nice encounter.
Thank you. That is exactly the choice that we have. And it's not always easy. We have to strike up a little courage. We have to abandon what we think is right or appropriate or, what will they think and all that stuff. Just step into it. But if you step into love, at the very least, they'll get respect. They'll be acknowledged. It doesn't have to always end up with a hug, but it could end up with where you respect each other. And it certainly is a great balancing act. So it's a simple choice to choose love, but it's not easy. Trish Yancey, who's a licensed Unity teacher, also wrote in our wonderful Advent booklet, and she says, love inspires us. Love heals our wounds, brings us solace, and challenges us to grow, always making us want to be the best version of ourselves. I always wanted to be the best version of myself. And sometimes the best version of myself isn't very pretty. Because I can be judgmental and angry and loud. Owen's always telling me you're so loud. Well, I want to be heard. If I'm going to express myself, I want to be heard. So here we have a good definition of how love works in our lives. It restores and renews us. It heals. It finds pathway in communication where from anger can go to a conversation where they realize they have more in common than different. And we have the blessing of life, this renewing life that gives us everything that we need, whether we know it or not. You are a representation of the love in the world. And your love is affecting this community, the community at large, our New Braunfels community, and our nation. Not in gigantic ways, probably. You might be. But we've got musicians and writers and bakers and cookers and all kinds of careers. And you never, ever know what your interaction with that person in the HEB parking lot, what effect that's going to have on his day, at his home, in his neighborhood, in his family. The ripple could go all kinds of directions. Or he could have just gone home and gone, okay, it's an okay day, and sat down. We do not know. But if we're presenting our best self forward, we have the opportunity to be an expression of sacred service in honor, in respect, forgiveness, and joy. So as we go forward this week, I ask you to join me in this personal exploration. The first one is bless your challenges. I happen to know that I do not grow when I am just in bliss. When everything's going right, I don't want anything to change. I'm like happy for it to just be like that. But the challenges, the breakdowns, the mess, is an opportunity for me to forgive something in me. If I've gotten upset, it's because there's something that's happening that I'm reacting to that isn't healed in me. And it isn't about time? Yes, it is. So if this is a week of love, love yourself through whatever challenges you have. And let love be the guide to heal, renew, reconcile, balance, all that. The next one is listen without fixing. You know what I mean? You're having a conversation with someone, and if you have a fix-it mentality, a need to, I'm going to make it better, it's hard to hear what the person's saying. And it's very respectful to just listen. And if you don't understand something, say, tell me more. Listen without needing to fix. The next one is offer kindness. Kindness is a wonderful expression of love. Because if you think kindness, if you say, I'm going to turn on the channel of kindness right now, we breathe deeper. Our heart opens. And it's very easy to smile, to offer help, to look in the mirror and be kind to yourself. Rather than passing the mirror going, oh, I don't like that. Offer kindness to yourself and others. And the last one, probably the biggest and best journey of our life, is love yourself. Because to the degree that I love myself, I can love others. Loving yourself fully, which means then forgiving yourself and honoring your spiritual journey and your growth journey. Guess what? We do not learn how to play the piano by sitting down at the piano and just going, okay, blah, 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 blah. It takes practice. And our life journey is one of practicing loving ourselves and loving others. And as we do this, we are fulfilling this Advent journey, this wonderful light, because our divine love is action. Which means, are you ready to do it? Are you ready to be it? Are you ready to allow more love in your life? Thank you.